Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really peeling back the layers on something fundamental, but maybe a little undervalued in professional practice.
hmm
How your personal history, specifically your own time as a student, actually creates the educator you become. We've got a great stack of sources that look right at the core of pedagogy.
And our mission really is to get beyond just the mechanics of the classroom. We want to unpack what it takes to get to what the sources call a maximal and holistic professional practice.
Right.
And to do that, you have to understand reflection.
Mhm.
Well, it's the non-negotiable key to moving forward.
And we're starting that journey with Frank McCourt. A lot of people know Angela's Ashes, of course.
The Pulitzer Prize winner, yeah.
But his other memoir, Teacher Man, from 2005, it really drills down on his time teaching in New York. And it just hammers home this point.
That your teaching is linked to your past.
Completely. He brought all of that, the good and the bad, from his early life, and he brought it right into the classroom with him.
And what's so interesting is this paradox he talks about. He saw himself as, a competent teacher, skillful, knowledgeable.
Oh, of course.
But he also admitted he was this complex, sometimes bumbling, quiet, shy person. And he survived. He even thrived because he had two things you absolutely need to survive in schools.
What are they?
A wicked sense of humor and a really deep sense of the absurd. That self-awareness was his professional core.
Okay, so let's dig into this core concept then, reflection.
Right.
The sources, they make a really interesting point that deep reflection, the kind that gets into your own identity, it's really unpopular in schools.
Notoriously so, yeah. And that's a global thing.
So why is that? I mean, why does looking inward feel so out of place in what's already such a demanding environment?
Well, it's about the system's demands, not what teachers actually want. The culture just values speed, efficiency.
Getting things done, tangible results.
Exactly. It's a workplace that's structured, very distractible, fueled by adrenaline, and, it's constantly being chopped up by bells and announcements.
So the system basically funds external outcomes, not internal wisdom.
You've hit it exactly. And that's the constant challenge. You're forced to focus on the immediate future, the next goal.
Which leads to just reactive problem solving. You fall back on the same old lessons.
A rigid repertoire.
Yeah.
And this pressure, it kind of creates a split in how we reflect.
Okay, so there are two different forms here. The first is surface level reflection.
Right. That's the practical, technical stuff. It's short term. It's the how, did we cover the content today, that kind of thing.
But then there's the deeper level.
And that's the powerful one. It's personal, professional. It's based on your values. The benefit is long term. It's a commitment to something bigger than just, playing the role.
And this is where it gets really impactful. The sources argue this isn't just about nostalgia.
No, not at all.
It can be really confronting, draining, even painful to look back. But that's where the good stuff is. It provides energy, empathy, and what's the term? Praxis.
Praxis, yeah. It forces you to remember what it actually feels like to be a student, the anxiety, the boredom.
The struggle to just fit in.
And that process, as hard as it can be, that's what gives you the energy to move forward with a real sense of purpose.
So if reflection is the fuel, these next three stories are, I guess, the engines.
I like that.
The source material gives us these three brilliant vignettes, three teachers who were basically prototypes for the author's own teaching style.
And we should say, this is a very different time. Some of the methods, they wouldn't fly today.
Absolutely not. But the key lesson here is the sheer humanness of these teachers. Their pedagogical judgment was just sound.
And that humanness, that's what builds strategic practice. Let's start with the intimidating one, Mr. Harris. Lou, year 6.
Lou, head of the primary school.
Yeah.
The description is amazing. A large gnome, ruddy-faced, cigar smoking.
With a deep voice, yeah. And his management style had this unintentional theatrical element.
Totally. I love the image of him at his desk with a fruit box just overflowing with confiscated tennis balls.
Iconic, isn't it? And don't forget the mandatory hour-long times tables recitation.
Yeah.
Every single morning.
Wait, an hour. An entire hour of times tables. That sounds like psychological warfare.
It definitely set a tone of accountability. But the story that really defines him is the homework incident. A student lied, said he forgot his homework.
Okay.
Lou tells him to go home and get it. The student, panicking, tries to fake it by running home and back almost 10 kilometers. He gets back exhausted.
Oh, no.
And Lou, he could tell something was up. But he just stayed superbly calm and matter of fact. He let it go. And then later that year, he publicly congratulated that same student for his success in athletics, in running.
Wow, so he didn't focus on the lie.
No, he focused on the long-term lesson.
Yeah.
It's just easier to tell the truth. He used dramatic control. He'd tell a naughty boy to take a walk in this deep, menacing voice. It was a performance.
A performance for the whole class, not just the one kid.
Exactly. It was about managing the group, not just punishing the individual. And crucially, he never, ever yelled or humiliated a student.
Okay, moving on from the large gnome, we have Mrs. Carruthers, social sciences.
Margie, and she was the polar opposite. Intelligent, no nonsense, a steely stare, always professional.
So she wasn't going for popularity contests.
Not at all. She kept a healthy professional distance. She wasn't sweating the small stuff. She had this very clear, long-term view of what mattered for student development.
And the example of this is the impromptu presentations about sports, about footy.
Yes. She let this one, very reserved student, give a whole series of talks on the previous night's rugby game.
Which had nothing to do with her subject.
Nothing whatsoever. But she saw the bigger picture. She knew the real goal was building that student's academic confidence, his public speaking skills. That was far more valuable than sticking to the curriculum for that one lesson.
That's incredible foresight. Okay, number 3, Mr. Faulkner, senior high school psychology.
Mark. Thick-set guy, spoken whispers, never raised his voice. Very informal shorts and long socks.
He sounds like the mentor figure.
He was the ultimate patient, dependable mentor, solid as a rock. And his whole focus, very appropriately for a psych teacher, was on the development of the whole person.
And there's a crazy backstory here.
There is. The student who's recalling this, he and his friends used to chant serial killer at him when he was a student teacher.
What? Why?
Just an unfortunate resemblance to some public figure at the time. Yet, years later, Mr. Faulkner treated him with total dignity.
That's immense emotional resilience.
It is, and his biggest impact was that he could sense the student was being inauthentic, that he was struggling, and he kept challenging him to be honest about it. The student regrets not opening up more, but that focus on internal growth, not just grades, it left a permanent mark.
So these stories, they're more than just memories.
Oh, much more. They are case studies. They're what the psychologist Lee Shulman called case knowledge, and they're how we really understand professional practice. Which brings us to the theory.
Right. Shulman's framework, this was a big deal because it shifted the focus away from just teaching techniques.
Back to the teacher's actual knowledge base. He said you need 3 big categories: subject matter knowledge, curriculum knowledge, and then the one that integrates them both.
Pedagogical content knowledge,
Yeah.
PCK.
PCK.
Yeah.
The synthesis of what to teach and how to teach it. And within PCK, Shulman saw 3 forms of knowledge that build on each other.
Okay. So the first is propositional knowledge.
Right.
What's that? It sounds like the rule book.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's the rule book, the abstract deductive knowledge you learn from instruction, principles, maxims, the stuff from your university courses.
Okay. Then you have the case knowledge, which is what we're just talking about.
Exactly. The stories, the prototypes, the precedents. It's experiential. It's Miss Carruthers letting the rugby talks happen. That's what gives the rules meaning.
And that all builds to the final one, strategic
And
knowledge.
this is the culmination.
Yeah.
This is where theory meets the self. It's that deep personal judgment, the wisdom that comes from your core as a teacher. It's where you reflect in the moment in action.
The sources have this great visual for this, these onion diagrams.
Yeah, they're very helpful.
You can imagine it as rings. The inner rings are the basic knowledge. And then the final outer layer for a teacher's development is bringing oneself into the teaching.
That's the synthesis. That's the key. And the same idea applies to students. Their ultimate goal, the outer ring for them, is reaching strategic and reflective capacities.
So this isn't just for teachers. The goal is for the learner to develop it too.
It's a form of wisdom for them, a self-regulatory process to get the most out of their own education.
So for a student, what does that actually look like?
Well, it might be knowing you study better in short bursts so you don't get overloaded.
Okay.
Or it's knowing how to shift from, detailed analysis to the big picture when you're writing an essay so you don't get stuck in the weeds repeating yourself.
It's knowing that your best exam answer might look totally different from the person's next to you, and that's okay.
That is personalized wisdom in action.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the author suggests his own personal PCK is a function of those 3 prototypes we talked about.
You can really see the synthesis.
It's all there.
He takes Mr. Faulkner's quiet patience, but he knows when to use a bit of Mr. Harris's measured drama to make a point stick.
And he uses Miss Carruthers' organization and her long-term view. That's what gives him the space to improvise effectively, which is where real teaching happens.
So bringing this all together, what's the big takeaway for educators now?
I think the main message from these sources is that a truly holistic reflection, one that draws on your deep personal history and your day-to-day practice, that's how you build strategic knowledge.
It lets you solve problems in a way that's authentic to you, instead of just grabbing some rigid one-size-fits-all solution.
Precisely. And those teachers from the past, they were comfortable in their own skin, they were certain of their purpose, and importantly, they weren't harassed by a lot of the modern stuff.
The sources mention that. The admin load, the technology, rigid policies.
It all pulls teachers away from their core job. It constrains the very judgment that made those prototypes so effective.
So it's about getting that internal focus back. Because when that judgment is working, it builds strategic knowledge in the teacher.
Which has a lasting impact on the student. It gives them those self-regulatory, metacognitive habits of mind that will serve them their whole lives.
The challenge then is that you have to constantly look backward to do your job, which is all about moving forward.
It's a real paradox.
And to close out this deep dive, we want to leave you with a thought from the 19th century Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard.
It captures this perfectly.
Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. So think about your own teachers, your own journey, and how those hard-won insights from your past can power your most effective, most strategic actions today.